Hi, it's Michael Curry, and no matter how hard you work at trying to stay on top of all the information so that you're knowledgeable and you can help your district coaches, you still get to sit on a 30-minute conference call with the home office in Ripon, Wisconsin so that they can tell you everything that you already know. That's right, I'm taking the hits for you good people. You're welcome.
I cannot see inside. You're twisted behind. I cannot redefine what has been left behind. You see that
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Well, post-Thanksgiving. I wasn't actually going to do a video on Thanksgiving, but you know, Saturday, what are you going to do? So, there's a lot of really cool information that you already know about the goings-on in the NSDA. However, I did spend 30 minutes of my good time listening to one Mr. J. Scott 1 telling us a lot of stuff that I've already kind of given you information about, but we have details, and details are very cool. So I think what we're going to take a look at is a quick little happy to begin with. We're going to go through some of the things that are new for the month that you guys can take advantage of, and finally I'm going to give you a summary of the conference call that did get me out of 30 minutes worth of parent-teacher conferences, so there is some upside to that. So kudos to Jan, Lynn, and Marcia out at Butte Falls for being a Week 3 Resource Package School winner in the November Appreciation thing. I suspect that since there were 3 weeks and that was last week, that maybe we'll get one more next week. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So I trust that even though they're not in the north, right, I still want to give kudos out to them. I trust they've already been emailed to make certain that they know that they got their resource package, which is really cool. So we got a school now in Week 1 and a school in Week 3. So maybe Oregon is just a little bit on their radar. That's really cool. So congratulations to Butte Falls, Marcia, Jan, and Lynn. So we're going to move on to the coaching stuff, right? And there weren't an awful lot of things that came out for the coaching in this week's newsletter that I think was too terribly earth-shattering, but there are a couple of things that are on there that I think are really cool that I think we as coaches can take advantage of. So I know that there's been a lot of moving around for the middle school competition stuff, and being a school with 3 feeder middle schools and nobody interested in running a program, I'm a little jealous, but I'll find a way, I suppose. Anyway, at the speechanddebate.org/competition events website link, you can check out their information and tips on middle school events. So both debate, platform speeches, interp, all of those. They've got a new guide for those events for the middle school level, so you should probably head on over there and check that out. So the next thing on the website that is a new resource for us is a monthly listing of potential impromptu topics. And so we're talking about going to your dashboard and going over to speech events and clicking on the first thing they list is like the platform speeches, then the interp speeches, then other speeches. You're going to click on that, and about halfway down the left-hand side, you're going to see November impromptu topics, which are really cool because this month they're all from Harry Potter. So they're all sorts of J.K. Rowling quotes, Albus Dumbledore quotes. So, you know, a good time was had by all for impromptu topics that only meet 1 out of the 3 criteria for our impromptu topics. But hey, you know, they're helping out there. So that's really kind of cool. And don't forget that you have sample debate ballots on your dashboard as well, with helpful advice for coaching, policy, public forum, and Lincoln Douglas debate. Really helpful if you're hosting a tournament and you have new judges who want to know what they're supposed to do. Sample ballots with sample judge instructions are available in your dashboard under the debate resources, so that's really cool. Don't forget to vote for your, I know it's super late because voting closes tomorrow, so if you're seeing this now, great. If you're seeing it tomorrow, but there is a January Public Forum topic on international organizations. You may want to work on checking that out as well. And finally, There is a survey for information about graduation rates from your speech and debate team. So if you go to surveymonkey.com/r/graduation rate, you can put in information about the graduation rate of your speech and debate students. I know for a fact that speech and debate has gotten, I can think of a dozen students right now, at least one a year, who wouldn't have graduated from high school who did because they wanted to do speech. And I think that's a really powerful narrative when you're either trying to start a program or maintain a program or explain to people why what we do is so important. If nothing else, it gets kids connected to school, and connecting kids to school is one of the most important things you can do to legitimize education in a kid's mind. They actually will want to show up and they'll actually want to learn because they have a place to have an outlet for all that knowledge. And you and I already know that. So taking that survey is going to help the NSDA build data referenced reports that you can then take back from them and then use to your advantage. So I think this is a good thing for us to do, is to go on there, fill out the SurveyMonkey, talk about your graduation rates so that they can turn around and build something with their letterhead on it, and then we can turn around and use it. I think that's kind of cool. So the last thing that I'd like to talk to you guys about today is the conference call that I had, and it really was an awful lot of information that you already know. I'm going to summarize the stuff that doesn't need anything more than a sentence to cover. There are a couple areas, though, that I think are really cool that I've got some additional data for you guys. So first of all, they talked again about the idea of piloting these new evidence rules, and they're piloting them for the second year, and it's up to your leadership committee to make the decision about whether we're going to use it or not, and we'll give you a 60 days notice. I think the majority of the committee is going to be at Clackamas this up and coming Saturday, so I'm going to pull everybody aside for 5 minutes. We're going to make the decision, and then I'll go ahead and let everybody know. Regardless of the decision, it only applies to policy, public forum, and Lincoln Douglas. It's very clearly written that even if we did decide to use these evidence rules, it does not apply to congressional debate, so it wouldn't apply to STUCO at all. The second thing that they updated was the World Schools Debate, and this is the thing I'm really excited about because it means we get to take more kids to nationals. So remember in the last episode, I said something along the lines of, they will let us take 3 to 5, but I don't know what that means. Well, now I do know what that means. What it means is that the actual format of World Schools Debate is 3 kids competing at a time. So if you wanted to have 3 kids do all of the debating, you would only select 3 students, and we would send those 3 to nationals. But they say in the rules that you can have up to 5 students in prep. Then you figure out the 3 that are going to go into the actual round. So we could take 4 in case somebody gets sick and we need to swap someone in. We could take 5 if we just wanted to say, we want to send as many people to nationals as we can, especially if we have like 4 or 5 really worthy seniors who had never gone before, and forget whether or not they get to debate every round. So that's kind of the thing that's going on there. Again, it's going to be your leadership committee that kind of sits down and makes the decision about A, how they're going to be selected, and B, how many we're going to send. Understand that the 2 ways that they say we should select, one is very human-centric, and I'm not so personally wowed about that, and the other one is to allow joy of tournaments to determine based on performance at debate, speech, and congressional debate. So if somebody did very well in all 3 but didn't place, and they were a senior, chances are really good the JOT program and Joy of Tournaments will calculate this based solely on numbers. JOT could actually do that. Now, like I said, it's going to be up to the committee to determine which way we go through. If we do opt for the analog, the human way, you can expect an email from me if you want to serve on the selection committee to determine who would go, or at least who we would tap first. Because if I had a student who we said, hey, you know, you didn't qualify, yada, 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 but you're a senior and you've done really well and maybe you won a state championship or whatever, we still want to tap you to go. And he may say, or she may say, you know, that's great, but I've got other things to do. I don't need to go to nationals. Then we would move to the second and third and fourth and fifth until we were able to field a complete team. Another option that they had was tryouts. That we could, after Congress, hold tryouts. Since our Congress is so late, and we have an artificial crunch from the time it takes to certify our entry, and then you have to register by May 1st, I'm not thinking we're going to do a tryout. I'm thinking we need to do something that's very fast, that we can get people on board very quickly so that we can get registration done on time. The next thing that they want to talk about, which is completely new, I didn't know this was coming down the pike. I think this is fantastic. I love this next idea. The National Speech and Debate Association has created four new awards that we can present at our districts. These are all District Person of the Year awards. So we can now offer 5 Person of the Year awards. We've always offered the Student of the District of the Year. Well, now we get to add a Communicator of the Year, a Principal of the Year, an Alumni of the Year, and a Volunteer of the Year. Now, the descriptions for these awards are supposed to be on the dashboard, but I can't find it on the dashboard, so I suspect it's not up. And the district operations manual hasn't been updated since October, so I don't think it's there yet either. But the minute that I find it, the minute that I see it, I'll go ahead and send it out to you guys because I think it's really cool. The way he described it kind of goes the way that the District of the Student of the Year District Award would be, in the sense that the Principal of the Year makes a lot of sense. Principal of the Years of our district. So we have that, who knows, somebody who has been outstanding supporter of forensics and speech and debate. The Communicator of the Year, and this is like, I think what we do for the Communicator of the Year from the Oregon Speech Coaches Association, where there's got to be somebody in our district who has done great service for the community through her communication. So whether it's a member of the media or whether it's a politician, doesn't have to be, and to my understanding, now of course the rules may finally be posted and I could be wrong, but I don't think the person has to be a member of the NSDA. This is the same award that we see given out on Thursday night to some, important person from the community as their Communicator of the Year. There is the Alumni of the Year, and the Alumni of the Year is what it says. So somebody who has graduated, moved on, but has done great things or has made a strong impact. Like think about graduated students over the last 5 years, and then think of somebody who has just absolutely blown your mind on what they're doing. And then the Volunteer of the Year. This is going to be the person who you probably have the most contact with, who has done an awful lot to help with your program, with furthering speech and debate, whether it's somebody who isn't a part of your team who comes in and works in your tab room, somebody who orchestrates a fundraiser for you even though they don't have kids in your program, just somebody who has been a strong pillar of support in your program, or it could just be somebody who is a fantastic volunteer in your community, but you really respect their communication abilities, and maybe you don't want to use them as your Communicator of the Year. I don't know. So those are the 4 new awards, and I hope I haven't grossly misrepresented them, but when the actual descriptions come out, I'll be sure to get it out to you guys. I'm really excited. I am going to get on board with this and double check with the leadership team, but the best part is they'll send us the trophies, right? There is 0 economic cost to us, which is really cool. I think it also means that we get to choose them early. I think it'd be really cool to have these people at our awards assembly on Saturday of NatQuals, to be able to present that. I think that'd be a really cool way to get people out from the community to come and see what we're doing on our awards day. I think that'd be cool. So the next update talks about extemp question service. Like I said a little bit earlier about impromptu, they're also offering extemp question services for districts. And I think Jane does a fantastic job of writing extemp questions. So I don't necessarily feel like this was something that is going to like save us from a dilemma. because I don't think our district has a dilemma when it comes to extemp questions. But I think I'm going to request them anyway, because the same wording committee that will write these extemp questions for everybody's districts is the same wording community for nationals. And I think that if we had examples every year of how these people write their extemp questions, I think that'd be a really good resource for our extempers to have when they qualify to nationals. So the next resource that's available to you on the website is on the debate tab of your dashboard, and it's under congressional debate. If you haven't noticed, they've been posting sample legislation, resolutions, and laws, bills in a docket. They've been providing a docket every month now for the last couple months. So there's a November docket, and online now is a December docket. It's a free service, so if you've got a StuCo coming up and you want a little help fleshing out the docket, check out the debate tab under congressional debate. You will find additional bills and resolutions to help you out there. So the last thing that was talked about at great length on our conference call is the very, very new development concerning the NSDA's movement towards building community. And it's something that you've probably seen a lot of in your weekly newsletters. It's something I haven't really talked about a lot. I didn't feel like the vast majority of us are coaches and teachers, and we work, and we're business owners, and we're associates, and we do a lot of stuff. And so adding on an infrastructure when an infrastructure wasn't necessarily needed, I didn't think that I wanted to do a lot of talking about that. But they've kind of put their money where their mouth is in regards to the building community and building infrastructure. And I understand why now, because of our conference call. And so I think I'm going to not bury the lead here. There's $1,000 up for grabs for every district if we accomplish a couple very small things over the course of the year. And this is monies that can be used in a lot of different ways. Money that can be used to supplement the district tournament and reduce our tournament fees. Monies that can be used to help schools that are financially struggling pay their annual dues. Money that we could use to help lure schools back into the NFL, schools that are active but not members of the NFL. All sorts of different uses that we can do. And when I explain to you how the money is received, you'll understand that there's actually $1,500 up for grabs as opposed to $1,000. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background. The same folks who support and sponsor Public Forum Debate, the Arthur Roop Foundation, the NSDA applied for a grant, and the idea of the grant was to provide micro grants back to each of the districts to the tune of $500. And the Arthur Roop Foundation said, well, we can totally do that, but what are you going to use the money for? And they said, we are going to use this money to help with our building community project. And they said, okay, that's fantastic. So the building community project is that the districts are structured in the same way that the home office is structured. And the building community project at our level looks a little something like this. We are executing a reorganization of the district in a way that says, okay, we're going to model the district based off the home office. And the home office is broken down into 5 categories. You have operations, and operations is like running the tournament and things like that. You have engagement, so you're getting programs involved, and you're trying to help expand what teams do and trying to get more teams on board into the NSDA. You have communications. Communications is communications. You have programs, and so like I think programs will be made a little bit more clear when I move forward and talk about how we can earn the second $500. Because the first $500 is creating these 5 branches within our district. And then the last one is support, volunteerism. So what basically happens is that the district leadership and I have to sit down and say, okay, who wants these 5 branches, and who outside of the district leadership would be good to take some of these branches as well. So it's a way to help involve more people in the runnings of the district. And just assigning 5 people to these various different roles, like, I would be programs, not programs, operations, since operations is about running the tournament. So I would put my name for operations, and then let's say Robin, who does a great job on communication when she talks to everybody about, alt quals and things like that, like Robin could step in, like, I'm totally good on communications. I'll Facebook everybody to death. And that's great. And I write her name down on a little form. Once I get 5 names down in the form and I send it in, we get a check for $500. Bladow. That's it. It's right there. Which is really kind of cool. So the first $500 is tied to setting up these 5 subcommittees. The second $500 is tied to one of the 5 categories, of course, is support. And the support here is like fundraising. So if our district held a fundraiser and we reported, I don't know, the forms don't exist yet, but I'm sure there is a form, an accountability form or whatever. If we held a fundraiser for the Northern Oregon district, whatever money we raised up to $500, Arthur Root Foundation will match. So it's a $500 matching grant. So that's how we go from $500 to $1,500, because we would have fundraised $500 and we would have gotten a $500 matching. So all of a sudden there's $1,500 available to us. So I think that just about does it. I know this is kind of a long update. Thanks for listening. I'm looking forward to seeing a whole bunch of you this up and coming Saturday at Clackamas. So good luck to you then. Insert catchy log off phrase here, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Your whole soul's rusted, you're untrusted, ashamed of yourself cause you never quite busted free. And now you're gazing at me, lost in space and it seems you through with chasing your dreams. And it's amazing to me the way it all unfolds when the story gets told, how it shapes and it molds into something so cold.